Hi, 3301 peeps. Week 5, third way through the semester. Things I think are going well in the class so far. We're continuing to learn a lot about tech writing and learning about writing in our field and applying what we're learning to the writing in our field. This week comes our first, I don't want to call it a test because it's not a test, but our first check, first sense I get of how you're doing with your field guides. So we're going to continue to learn about document design. We're going to turn our attention to style and professional writing style as well, in terms of what we're learning about technical writing. But I want to take this opportunity to talk specifically to you about the field guides and to apply some of the things that we've learned about visual design and document design to the field guide to talk to you about why it's important. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And I need, this is our field guide. And I'm going to do a couple of things with this just so I can, I want to go to full screen mode. So as much of this whole thing will appear at once as I can. So again, we're creating a field guide. It's a reference guide. Now, what is a reference guide? It's quick information. Now, some of y'all may have been surprised. Look at this. Oh, I've just got to write one, fill out a little chart or things like that. Remember, professional writing is about information. It's not about writing papers necessarily or filling up a bunch of words as well. You want useful information. Quick example. I once had a grant writing class. Entire class spent 8 weeks writing a grant. It was only 5 pages long. It was funded. It got thousands of dollars for a local nonprofit. But when we got done, several students were shocked that the entire class had spent 8 weeks to write only 5 pages. And I told them the point isn't that you only wrote 5 pages. The point was that it took you 8 weeks to find out what you needed to know to write these 5 pages. So I want you to look at this. I want you to look at this as is literally a report, a summation of what you've learned about writing in your field. Now, this was done by a GIS student who wanted to be a surveyor. So his was a professional surveyor's communication guide. Yours will be titled something else because I don't think there are any GIS majors in this class. So it's a reference guide. It's a field guide to writing in the field. So you've got 10 different kinds of documents. In this case, it was governmental, commercial, private. I won't read them all as well. In 3 different kinds of categories. In this case, there were proposals, stuff that were specifically, we're trying to get business in there. They will be different for you. They were internal documents, stuff that is read only within the organization, and external documents, stuff that is read outside of the organization as well. And notice there are 10. And so this person found 10 different kinds of documents and then decided that for his purposes or for use, not just for himself, but for other surveyors, he to break them up in these different categories. So you will have probably at least 3 categories as well, and they will vary depending on your career and what you feel as well. So with each, you wanted the name of the document, who reads it, what's the audience, what is the purpose, what does the document do, what is the medium. Sometimes they're paper, sometimes they're digital, sometimes they're it depends on what it is as well. What are some of the features? You describe the document, what it does, what is ethical and unethical, what is if you're a police officer, lying, inaccurate information, things like that as well. If you are writing a technical report, minimizing the problem as well. And then a reference, and this would be a reference to where you got this information as well. We'll talk a little bit about how to handle this column a little bit later, because this will likely give you some fits. But notice it all fits on one page. That's one of the that's literally one of the references. one of the important points of this. It's a field guide. Just pick it up. People can take it with us and can look at it as well. And so notice not complete sentences. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but you have purpose, document features. Notice they usually begin with verbs. Notice they are parallel, serve, serve, serves. Participating, participating, participating. My point is that each clause is phrased exactly the same way. So part of organization is creating our structures similarly as well. So this is, now you could have written several paragraphs on the purpose, but notice what he's gotten done in this particular case has gotten the essential information in. And that's why this week I'm having you paying attention to reducing wordiness and writing in a concise professional style, because you could get everything and you could make this a 5-page document easily. You want to boil it down to the key information. So think of this as a visual genre. It's all one. It's a document. Notice it is landscape, meaning it's not, the paper isn't like this, but it's like this, so we can have longer columns as well. Notice you've got different boxes. This is the title of it. This is a table, and it's got different columns. Each column has a specific labeling, and it's got different rows, and we've got sub rows. We've got 3 big rows overall with the different kinds of categories, and then each other row has its a row dedicated to each kind of document as well. So it's a very easy reference. So we want to know the category proposals, this, and it's got all these qualities spoken of in this particular way. He did some other things that I think are nice. Each separate category of writing has a box around it. Notice it's all got lines in between. It's got a solid box around it. So all the data on proposals is contained visually in this one box. Same thing with internal documents. Same thing with external documents. So you got boxes around it as well. You've got things are centered rather than just run off to the left, because it's easier to find things when things are visually organized the same way. So everything is centered left to right, top to bottom. And notice they're centered both within the document and vertically within the table cell of the chart as well. Not necessary things, but nice things he did was little graphics to illustrate each kind of document as well. And then he put a watermark on here, just sort of a thing. It's like a picture ghosted behind the screen. So we see a surveyor at work, not required, but a nice thing as well. Easy to read, easy to use. Took him 8 weeks to find out what he needed to put this material in completely. But it's a useful visual guide to show what we have learned about technical and professional writing in our field. There's some other components to this assignment. There is a reflection and a couple other things I'll talk about later. But I just wanted to talk about what we're doing, which is our field guide, and we'll talk about the design and why these design features actually enhance communication. Because what do you want to do in a reference? Do you use a reference guide? Do you read the whole thing through? No, I'm working on a commercial proposal. What do I need to do? Who's going to read it? What's the purpose? What are the features as well? So it's a reference guide, so I can pick it up and locate the information easily that I need. And you're not going to read the rest at that time. We'll talk about findability a little bit later, both within the document and within the world of the internet, in the web as well. So that's all I want to talk to you about that. So this week we are going to continue looking at design a little bit more. We're going to begin talking about style. And by midnight on Friday, I'm going to ask you to submit a draft of what you've got. And 2 things: it will not be graded. The only way to screw up is not to turn anything in. But I know this is kind of work and kind of writing you've never done before. So I want to see where you at, see what you've done so far, so I can see what you understand, what you don't understand, where you need help. And I will give you everything that you turn in a detailed critique. So that's where we are so far in week 5. I'm cautiously confident. I'm confident in that I think most of y'all are doing well. I'm cautious because I know that this is kind of an unfamiliar medium, and that's why I want you to just give it a shot, get things up, throw spaghetti on the wall so I can look at it with you and make suggestions and give you some help. So thanks for your time. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thanks.